Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Market Watch. I hope you all had a really awesome weekend and hopefully you guys got to relax before digging into the charts again this week. But before we dig into the charts, let's talk about a little bit what happened at the end of last week as Friday, Fed Chair Yellen spoke in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and let's take a look at a little snippet of that speech that she said. We could see that in the markets that we had some really good strength happening in the US dollar after that speech, and I believe it is because of this little line here. Janet Yellen said, "I believe in the case for this increase in the federal funds rate has strengthened in recent months. Of course, our decision has always depended on the degree which incoming data continues to confirm the committee's outlook." So what I think that she means by that is she's waiting to hear what's going to happen with non-farm payroll coming out this Friday. Again, the first Friday of every month is non-farm payroll. Really big news announcement showing if there is growth within the U.S. And I think that they are going to look for that as the catalyst of making a decision if they are going to raise rates coming into the end of September. So digging into the euro dollar now on the daily chart, we can see that after that news announcement came out on Friday, there was a lot of strength coming into the US dollar, and that showed some weakness in the euro. We can see that we are kind of at the area of 1.1150, which is also showing us at the area with our daily 50 EMA. I'm going to be pretty calm on this pair here this week. I'm going to look for a little bit more confluence, showing some bearish momentum to the downside. We can see here that the area of 1.1150, there's been a lot of support and resistance here in the past. So I think that I want to wait until we get a break below 1.1150 and then possibly a retest as resistance before looking at taking this pair any lower if we are going to have some good news coming out later this week. So I think for the euro, in this case, I'm going to be fairly neutral on it this week. I'm going to wait one more week possibly, unless something crazy happens that's showing me some really good activity. But I'm going to be calm and wait for a good entry on the euro dollar and some other euro pairs here. Zooming in now on the pound dollar on the daily time frame, we can see that we've had some really good structure coming in to play after our big sell-off with Brexit. So we had a good run up last week, and we've seen some really good resistance in around the area of 1.32, which is getting us very close to our daily 50 EMA. From there, we can see that with that news announcement coming out on Friday, we did have a break to the downside. Now let's take a look at some intraday charts here, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm looking for before committing to this pair. So we did have this big sell-off after that news announcement, and now a lot of people are taking profit from that move, and we can see that we're getting a pullback now to value. So I'm going to wait until we get a pullback, possibly look for a fib retracement, and look for some signs of deceleration and reversal, both on the 4-hour chart and on the hourly chart. But we can see after our big run up here, we broke our upward sloping phase line, and now we broke down through that. So just waiting for a pullback where I can get a little bit better price on it before looking at selling it off to the downside. I'm going to look at making the target of the double bottom in around the 1.2880 area. My target if I can get a nice clean entry here on the pound dollar this week. If I am able to hold this position, I'm going to look at having a nice tight stop, ensuring that I'm going to have some profit coming into the news on Friday. And from there, it will be a personal decision whether I'm going to ride it out, but we will talk more about that later this week on GoTV. So now let's move on to the New Zealand dollar, and we can see that we have a very similar setup. I want to take first a look at the weekly time frame because this is showing some really good support and resistance in around the area that we are right now. If I actually first put in a fib level, we can see that we've actually done a fib retracement now from this price action for a very long time now. And if we take a look at the monthly chart, we can also see that we ran into our monthly 50 EMA, giving us some really good resistance. But if we go back to our daily chart and I draw in a line in around the area that we've had resistance on right now, and around the 0.7320-ish area, let's just turn this line blue. Make it a little bit easier. we can see that we've had some really good support in the past off of this area and some resistance going back many years. So we are at a really good area of value. And after that news announcement had come out, we saw a really good breakdown, and now we're coming back again, just waiting for our pullback before we're going to continue the momentum going on farther. For this pair here, I'm going to take a look at the daily chart, and I'm going to make my my target, if I can get in this pair, in and around 0.700, which would give us a really nice risk reward in on this pair. So my biases for this week is I'm going to be fairly neutral around the dollar, just waiting for the confirmation of that non-farm payroll coming out on Friday. I am long-term bearish on the dollar. I'm a little bit neutral on the euro, as we can see that we're at that tipping point of support and resistance. And I'm neutral and remaining patient on the yen. I am bearish on the Aussie and the New Zealand, however, this week, as we just talked about the positions in these pairs. We have a very similar setup on the Aussie dollar too. Some weekly tweezer tops that are also giving us some really good signals of reversal. So some short-term opportunity this week, I think we have in the pound dollar and in the New Zealand dollar, just waiting for those pullbacks to occur and look for some signs of reversal, some possible high test candles, both on the 1 hour and on the 4 hour chart in around those EMA areas. So be safe this week, guys. Make sure to have your stop losses on all the time, especially coming into the news. We have some news on Wednesday and on Friday. So be careful in the markets this week, and let's make some money.